Hello again. Welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. Today is one of those special days throughout the world where all the history is about to be broken once again, even by the position of the stars, the moon, and that special blood moon that we expect. At these times, we are happy to bring in whatever the universe offers. And fortunately, we're all now in a position where we can actually go out there, find our own place, pick up all our gifts and bring them back into the world. There was no preparation, there was just an introduction to this special time. And you didn't have to be ready, but you are. So now, elevate that platform that's called life and take it all the way out to where it can actually bring to you all the gifts that you need to deliver. As we talk, the information of what we're going to deliver flows into our system, but it never explains itself. It flows in a format that we're very comfortable with and that we don't have to look at and explain against all the information we have. It's all totally different, not even relative to anything we have here. And so, out of nowhere, we will appear either in our own presence or in the presence that we decide to bring into the world. And we will deliver gifts every day to everyone from now until the end of time. And the end of time will probably disappear by the time you get there. And you'll still continue delivering those gifts and making sure that the part of us that was held in what we call the unknown, that blank spot that we don't go to, that thing that frightens us, that aspect that we're not going to touch, we are now entering every one of those and taking down the sign on the door that says keep out. As we reveal the gifts, they will be from other worlds. They will be more than fantastic and more than fantasy and more than the reality that we now know. What we're about to do is deliver a whole new vocabulary of what life is, of how elegant we are, of what really is available, and of what we can do ourselves. We came into the world with nothing, and now we have all sorts of things. And we think that because we inherited, worked, or whatever, and got all these things, that's all we get. That's totally incorrect. We came into the world with everything. We can bring everything out of nowhere at any moment and either make it appear here or have it alongside us as invisible. We can influence the universe. We can influence one another, but most of all, we only want to impress one another, because that's how we demonstrate the value of the gifts that we bring from afar. And they're not anything we know about now. Each one comes in its own little package that's bigger than the world you're living in now. And as you elevate further and further, the world around you will disappear. And the magic that you thought was a dream will actually come to life. We now have scientific evidence that we can transpose from energy into matter and back again. Yet that came from us. This is what we do. This is how we got here. And this is how we can go and pick our gifts up and bring them back. We just transpose to wherever we've got to go, and we either bring our focus with us or we don't. And if you want to visit a friend, you visit a friend, and then you decide whether you want to actually synchronize with their world or stay just outside it so they're aware that you're there. But if you really want them to see you, you can synchronize with their world or with their vision or with their feelings, with any part of them, with any part of their family, in any location, at an instant. You'll get better and better at revealing what you've been told is taboo. There's a part of you that has been overshadowed by your own sense of protection, so that you can't go in there and find out really who you are. You can't do the magic and perform the miracles because you won't go in there. So now, on this special day, you've just lifted yourself to where all the doors come open and you can't do anything about it. They've all come open and you're all revealing the special things that you can do and the special things that you don't even have to prove here. Because in a moment, you can be in any of the places that has the magic, in any of the worlds we have stored everything, in any location, in any dimension, and you can decide if it's visible to people around you or if it's tangible. The fact that people previously would freak out over even what I'm saying, and today it's quite acceptable by everyone, is a great indicator of what's been prepared in our field to make sure at the time of delivery of this wealth of mystical but physical events, we can celebrate, we can jump up and down, but most of all you'll find that inside you there's a calmness and a relief. I will speak openly about a lot of things, but they're not things that I've hidden. They're all new. They're all the gifts that each one of you start to reveal to me in spaces where most people won't go. I'm happy to go anywhere, to visit anything and to visit anyone. So even if your gifts are well hidden and I feel that you need my assistance to open that up, I will speak in that area and bring it to life. We have millions of years of flow to bring into this world. We are about to show that we can decide if something is visible, if something is possible, if it can happen now or later, what the extent of it is, and we do it in a split second or less. And the fact that you can feel something in your hand if you wish, immediately. You just haven't got to the point of deciding whether you'll show anyone. I remember showing a young child how to play with a ball of energy and to throw it to one another. And that child now has grown up and throws a baseball at speeds you cannot imagine. It gets faster after it leaves his hand because he knows exactly what the energy does and how to control it. And he's that powerful, and he's only a small young man. He can't play on any of the teams because it's too dangerous. And it didn't worry him. He just lives on a farm and he throws the ball and enjoys doing what it's supposed to do without limitation. And that's just one little exercise of knowing what control you do have over the fields, the energies that are available to us here. I keep talking about watching what they're teaching in the Spaceship Institute from Keshe Foundation and of trying a lot of their things. But quite often I'll say to Barbara, he missed the point. And sure enough, a few weeks later, he'll come back and restate what he's talking about. So I know that we're all connected and we're all delivering a message at the right time for the right people so they can reveal what we thought was impossible and physically show it in their own home. The biggest thing that we have now, though, we can forget all that. That was just all to demonstrate that we are capable. What we're going to deliver now is gifts beyond any imagination we can have in this world. We will go to other worlds and we'll open the door and we'll reveal things we've never revealed before. And you think you're happy now. You wait until all these special gifts appear in front of you. Your treasure chest of magic, of the things you see and you feel and you grew up with and were never able to speak about. To the point where as you get a bit older, you don't even speak about them to yourself. So now that's gone. All the doors are open. all the fantasies are actually realities. But they're still not anywhere near what we're about to offer. I'd like to be able to give you more specific detail, but I think everybody knows that as we move in amongst one another's field, all these things will start to happen. And we'll know beyond a doubt that we don't have to battle with anything. There is a way, and there's a way that we never thought of. All we have to do is continue on with our life, experiencing gift after gift after gift, and then you'll see it happens all the time. This is who I am. This is how I make sure everybody's okay. I go to sleep at night knowing that I'm so busy that I'll really sleep, because I'm out in amongst the world, out in amongst other worlds, all at once. And I come back and try to find words for it, and all I can do is smile. Because there is nothing more elegant than discovering something new about yourself. Discovering that you can actually see what somebody's doing in another country. You can stand in the living room of a place they've never been before, and often don't know where you are, but you're attracted there by a personality who is ready for your presence, whether it be verbal, visual, or just feeling. But we're making everything perfect for everyone and allowing that perfection to change every moment. So nobody has to have a set of standards. Nobody has to maintain where they are or what their favorite thing is, because everything that comes is new. And you don't get a chance to find anything that's favorite, because that's limiting. Each time it's better, each time it's new. So as we start to demonstrate everything to everyone, we will all understand what I meant when I said you can step off a building and not fall. You can bring something physical into the world around you simply by knowing it's there. The brain will get used to the fact that it doesn't have control of that. It's an operating system that's way, way beyond the physical brain. But they're all connected, because the great sensations that come from your presence and from your development and from your gifts feeds back through the brain and excites every sense in your body. The fact that we can turn things on and off in space and be there and move from here to other planets is actually going to be demonstrated very soon. But the reality is we don't need any equipment, we only need us and the source from the universe. And Our source and our origin is unique for us, for each one of us. And once we access ourselves in that form, everything comes alive. So we don't need explanations, we just need to experience it all. We don't need to actually show anybody if we don't want to. But I'm sure in the long run, that's all you'll want to do. You'll wave your hand and say, look at this. And people will see the sparkles, and they'll see things appear. And one person who's not interested won't see it, another person will. Until you get to the point of saying, hey, this gift is for you. There it is, plonk on the ground in front of you. The brilliance of the fact that we can move forward and see all this is available to us. You can thank every one of you. The interaction of every one of you is what has made everything start to gel. The fact that you're openly talking about being space beings. It's not long before you'll just up and move into space and be safe no matter where you are, because that's your capability. And it will be proven scientifically just to convince all the people who say it's not possible. And that's happening right now. Many of the things that we don't hear about won't matter. We won't even be interested because it's all practice. And you can't practice something unless somebody knows how it works. You can't practice to be a dancer unless somebody knows what dancing is. So we do know. The only thing we're practicing with is to prove it at a level that will suit somebody else's standard. And we don't have any standards, so why should we worry? You can't have a standard about the gifts that nobody's ever seen before. You can't have a standard, but with each gift, there's not an explanation, but there's something that comes to you with each gift so that you know exactly what to do. So that treasure chest, when you open it up, fills the world. And it doesn't leave any space. And every one of us can walk through all those treasure chests and feel ourselves lifted by the special beings that are going to be with them. Each one of you know you have special beings that you're going to introduce to this world that will make us feel light and beautiful, appreciated, and take our focus off everything. There's so much that we'll never ever stop talking about it. As I listen, I hear everything new again. As I look, I don't see the same thing. And as I speak, I'm a different person every time. I'd love you all to experience that, because we're not just a fixed pattern, and we're not a defined being. We're totally undefined, and that's why there's something in us that won't allow us to be controlled. The more the control mechanisms come in, the more we were willing to fight. But now, we've elevated above all that. The treasure chest we bring takes the fight out of everything. The beautiful beings, the elegant feelings, and the wondrous future that every one of you are revealing every second. We can now breathe a sigh of relief and let go of gravity. It cannot hold us. We can use it, but it cannot hold us. And there are many different names for the different forces. And unfortunately, they all got definitions. So we won't give any definitions. We'll just experience them, transmit to one another what they are, feel it, and generally walk around about a foot above the ground. And each one of us will support one another to do that. And I'd love to be able to predict a lot of things, but it's beyond prediction. I can't even predict the next minute because it's going to change. You can give all sorts of pictures and plans and everything, but they're never going to be the same because we decided to let all that happen. That is part of the universal performance that we've brought to this world. So as we feel that elevated platform continuing to rise, remember it's just there all the time. It's an elevated platform of living. And it's priceless. It contains everything. And it holds you so securely and dearly that you don't need gravity. So we'll just go for a little break now and we'll come back 5 minutes or so and yeah, look a little bit more into what's ahead. Thank you. So welcome back. Much of what we spoke about is probably already filtered through to where the questions are flowing. Wow, when's this going to start? How do I do it? Boy, tell me more. Well, the big thing to tell you is that I only had to tell you it was available. Each one of you have your own lock on those areas that you won't go into. Each one of you can actually just go and skip past anything without any process and go directly to your gifts, directly to the areas that you said I can't go, and you'll find they're quite different to the picture that you've seen. All the things you can't talk about, everybody just says that, but they don't even know what it is, because it's different for everyone. And if you come against such a question or such an area that you can't go into, just turn on your magic and appear on the other side. And when you look back, what was there won't be there. Because it's a fictitious wall that each one of us built to protect our gifts. And we put a different sign on it that says you can't do that, that's wrong. But in fact, you can do anything, providing it's full of magic and miracles. If it's not full of magic and miracles, it's not real anyway. It's dead, depleted, ugly, on its way out the door. Life of any sort is vibrant. The cycles in the universe give you vibrant and give you dark. They all contain energy in different matters. But we're designed to live in the vibrant sparkles of many, many different worlds that aren't out there, that aren't in here, they're just where they are. And you go to them, you don't say what's your address. Each time you want to be somewhere, you just be there. There is no method, because that is the magic of the fairies, of the witches, of the goblins, anything you like, but it's actually yours. So the second you need to be somewhere else, you be there. And if someone says you're crazy, whoop, you didn't get there. Do it again. Because when you're there, everyone will be so happy. They can't help themselves. It's like when you hear about the mischief of a goblin, you can't stop smiling. It might be the worst thing in the world that he does, but it's done with magic. It's done with a mischief that entertains your spirit. And everything and everybody is about the entertainment of one another's spirit, particularly your own. In the next few days, you'll find that you waver in and out of the two fields. But if you take note, you'll see that the old one is actually bubbling through the new one to try and be part of the new. So every disturbance you get is attempting to take on the energy of the new world. And so it still looks like, you know what, but it's changing. So every essence in every part of everyone will actually bubble up as if it's boiling. And it will leave the old form and transpose into the new. You don't have to touch it. You don't even have to be involved. If something crazy comes through your life, just wait for a couple of seconds and say, okay, that wave's gone. I'll get on the next one. Because it's just like being at the surf. Some of the waves aren't suitable to ride, so you let them pass. The elevation comes naturally at a perfect time, at a perfect moment for each person. And it's just like nature, you know. I'll go back to the waves again. There'll be a perfect wave and only one or two people will get it. Yet there are hundreds making an attempt. But for those who are there at the right time and the right place for them, it just picks them up and takes them on a ride. This is the magic. It's not in things being the same. It's in finding the perfect thing for you at a perfect moment. Not to compete with anyone, but to enjoy the thrill. And when you see that it's right for someone else, you encourage them. And you use your energy to get them on the wave. And you jump up and down like a little elf saying, ah, look what I did. And you love it. So all our future is going to be a little crazy. But that's good. Because all this serious, you know what, has become a little bit too much. And as we move forward, if you want to get overloaded, get serious. Because if you're serious, you'll get pounded by the first wave. If you're jovial and happy, you'll either get out of the road of the first wave or it'll lift you up and you'll have the time of your life. We're doing a million and more things in every minute. And as we become more aware, that becomes a load. So don't bother being aware. Just enjoy. Let the things that come to you excite you. If you don't see the traffic, you won't be bothered by it. Yet you can be in it. Because you gathered yourself to be in tune with the flow. And once you do that, it can't disturb you. So be in the flow of life doesn't mean be in somebody else's flow. It means find the flow that's unique for you and everyone around you will be happy because you're not running into them. And what happens is they settle down into harmony that dances with your whole world, amuses you, and allows you to sparkle gifts on them whenever you want. And nobody complains. So those who are wondering, what will I do next? Just put your hand into that little bag of tricks and pull out whatever you want. even a rabbit, but allow it to do the magic that you brought from other worlds that nobody's ever seen before. It's not like anything anybody knows. And be totally confident that it's here, it's working. And if I show you some confidence, you feel it. That's all you have to do. Everyone can do it. And it doesn't matter, 100 years' time, if you show this video, you'll get the feeling. Know that there is no limit on anything, on any time, on what you can and can't do. Because we're naturally part of the universe, and we're the part that makes things better, that enhances life, that enhances everybody's feeling of life. And for that we work all day, all night, continuously. And so why shouldn't we have everything? We never stop. And we keep giving and keep giving and keep giving, and we'll never stop. Because that's how we're built. We're designed by our Creator to create impossible experiences for everyone. And we don't need any things to do it. So we'll probably still play with those things to prove that we can do things and prove them to those who don't think we can. But at the same time, you've got to know that that's not the focus. That's the diversion. The focus is in actually living from those other worlds and opening up your treasure chest every day, seeing what else you can sprinkle down on everyone. What you can produce that's magic. You know, you see people on the computer doing this every day. The magic on Facebook is increasing. The word magic is appearing everywhere. The word miracles is appearing everywhere. And they're getting away from great sayings. They're actually speaking what comes to them. There's very little now of the repeat birthday cards and great Christmas cards. They're all now from the heart of a person with the art that was given to them using the tools that we have at the moment. We generated those tools, we're going to generate more. We're using them now, otherwise we wouldn't be able to speak to everyone. And they're great. But at the same time, I can see everybody on the other side of the camera. Try it. I can go into the lounge room. I can go into wherever they're watching. I can walk around in people's places. I can smile at the young children who are not watching. And I can appreciate what everybody thinks in the times when I go to speak. What is so elegant is that the thinking has almost disappeared. And the responding transmission is happening. People are feeling not what I'm saying, but they're feeling everything behind it. And they're actually living a better life, a much better life, because they decided nothing, just went for it. Now that we're at this point where you think the biggest door of all times has been opened, it's actually the start of your new world, of your new existence, where for the next many, many thousands of years you'll just display more and more and more of the elegance of humanity. And you'll listen into your own world, into your creator, to the fantasies that aren't fantasies, and you'll bring them into the world in a million different forms to keep everybody excited and to keep the experience of other worlds here where we've been told we can't. And the world that used to exist, that didn't care, will actually look on and start to care. Now that we can see beyond the limits of those areas that we said we can't go, you have no desire to look back. You have no desire to even compare anything. Every little gift in your magic box is so exciting, you can't wait to see what it does, or to find another one. And you keep digging in there to find more about you. The further you go, the better it is, until you're totally surrounded by perfection that is absolutely brilliant, absolutely new, and breathtaking in every aspect. So during the week, don't do anything, just live it. And you watch. All the things that you think you have to do will be done anyway. This is the story I keep telling. How I never ever had to clean my windows or my floors or anything when I lived alone. And people used to say, "Who do you get to keep your house clean?" I said, that's a bit of a secret. No one. The energies would clean everything up. And if they forgot, I would go and smear the window and say, "Look at that." And I would never touch it again. In a couple of days' time, totally clean. Everything is possible. And as we all start to accept, then those active energies won't be driven away. Those little magic tricks will happen around you all the time. The special odours that are better than flowers will just appear out of nowhere. And the right people will turn up all the time at the right time. And you'll use your little wands to actually demonstrate that you can change things. So in the next week, we'll find out what we're doing. I try to predict what happens every week, and it's always better than what I come up with. And Barbara writes an enormous amount about what's happening and says, how can I how can I write so much about what we haven't done? Because we have a really nice, relaxed life, but there's so much happening all the time. And we're interacting through the fields that we know nobody can pick up except those who need to pick it up. We're operating with the essence of our own being. It belongs to the entity called humanity. We're making sure that what we are is actually active. And all I can do is keep doing that, and we'll see what we come up with next week. But it seems to keep going, and I'm sure that the further this interaction goes, the more will be fed back to us in a positive light. And we won't have to expend any energy at all because it's a natural flow. With the gifts that you bring, everything is fulfilled. So thank you, and we can talk again next week. But in the meantime, remember to offer one another perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. Thank you.